Welcome to another episode of The Heart of the Matter. My name is Omilola Oshikoya. If you've been on Instagram recently, you would have noticed that T.Y. Bello, the photographer, has started this worship series, a spontaneous worship series, where she features amazing worship leaders. I actually happened to be at one of the sessions when it was one of my friend's birthdays, and it was phenomenal. And today we're talking to one of the worship leaders. Her name is Nwando Omosebi. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Welcome, Nwando, to The Heart of the Matter.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
It's
And
nice
to
to
meet you.
Nice to be here.
So you have a powerful voice, and you have been a worship leader for a very long time. How did you become a worship leader? How did you know this is what you were meant to be doing?
I think about the time I was 17, I just had this hunger in my heart to spend more time with God. And I actually made a promise to God that I would sing for him. And I didn't know the gravity of what I was saying. But that I kept on saying that, Lord, I will sing for you. Lord, I would sing for you. And funny enough, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing.
But it's interesting because, so a lot of young people have the gift of the voice, and they're thinking, I want to be like this person, I want to be this pop star. But you, at that young age, you were a teenager at that age, you actually said, I want to sing for you. So you must have had an encounter with God. Can you tell us about that encounter?
1994, July, I had a dream, and funny enough, it was about the coming of Jesus. And
how old were you?
I was 17, thereabout, or something. And I remember so clearly, I saw Jesus coming in a cloud, and he was on a white horse. Now then, there was this fear. Oh my God, Jesus is coming back.
Rapture.
I'm not ready. Oh, rapture, I'm not ready, and stuff like that. But that triggered a hunger to know God, a hunger to do things for him, to love him more. But that was in my teenage understanding. Right now, it made me chase God like I had never chased him before. Previously, it was that legalistic mindset of, you need to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that because it's the right thing. But then I wanted to sing for him. And funny enough, I just found out that in singing for him, I felt more fulfilled. I mean, there were other ways I could sing, but I just had this fulfillment singing for him. And I mean, in the 90s, there were so many tapes. There was Ron Canoli, there was Don Moen, you know, all these people. They were a very big influence on my life. My family thought that I had lost it, that I probably was the one who killed Jesus. But I just knew that I had a love for gospel songs. I had a love for...
Were you from a Pentecostal background?
No, Anglican, actually.
Because I was about to ask that. You had this encounter with God. Some people would say, I want to have an encounter with Jesus. Did you already have an intimate relationship, or he just appeared to you?
Intimate relationship, not really. Hunger, yes. I loved going to church. I mean, I'm from an Anglican background. But now this is a funny story. Every time I went to church when I was younger, I would find myself sleeping while the minister was on the podium. But when I would go to a Pentecostal church, there was this love for the word at a very young age. So coming from that place of, you know, how would I explain this? Hunger, passion. And the funny thing is, I was not looking for people's accolades, if I should use the word. I just wanted to sing for God. And that was all that drew me. That was all that drove me.
So Obviously, you've been doing it for a couple of years. So how has been the journey? But I'm also aware you have a powerful testimony.
How can I explain this? I was in the UK for a while. I was in House on the Rock, London, for a long time. And everybody knew me as the pastor's daughter because I was right in front. And right in front of me, there were so many people getting married. And I was like, oh God, when will that day come? But I said something. I said, God, I cannot sleep with anyone I'm not married to. I said to the Lord that, God, I make this vow. If he's not my husband, I won't sleep with him. So now, for a long period of time, I was waiting. There were offers, there were no acceptances. And I was always wondering that, God, what did I do wrong?
When you say long?
Let's see. For a period of probably 10, 11 years, I waited. And this was from my 20s to my 30s. And I waited for a while. But funny enough, it was when I came back to Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria in 2013. And no husband, no offer, no acceptance.
Was the pressure in Nigeria?
Oh, there was pressure. Oh God.
Nigeria, more Nigeria than London, right?
Whoa. There was so much more pressure in Nigeria. And the pressure was even from married men too.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, 2015, my friend, I had met in London in 2012. He had come back. In fact, the day I met him after he came back, he dropped a bomb on me saying that he wanted me to go out with him with the intention of marriage. Now, this was in May 2015. And I thought this guy had lost the plot. Because, this is my friend. This is like my brother. I could tell him anything. And it was like a shock to my system. However, August 2015, we started going out. And by December, I was married to him.
Wow.
I was married to him.
Wow.
But what was very... What touched me so much was actually the time we got married, because we got married on 12:15 p.m., 12/12/2015.
Oh, was that intentional? Wow.
All I can say was that it was a prophetic time, because we had to be sure of the time we got married, and everything just stood. Everything just was on point with regards to numbers.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
But what am I trying to say in this story? Let no woman, no matter how old you are, think that you're late in anything. If God could do it for me, and I can boldly say that I got married as a virgin, I waited.
Wow.
I waited. And I said, God, you could do this for me. You can do this for anybody. Anybody. What is the lesson in this story? It is good to wait. It is good to wait for the right time, for God makes all things beautiful in its time. But more importantly, it's more beautiful to wait for your own. Because since I got married, I've had no regrets. I love my husband more than I loved him the day I married him. He's my friend. He's my brother. I love him. But that's just because he's my own. He's my own. I love him.
And you waited for your own.
I waited for my own.
And he was your friend, so he was round the corner.
Yep.
But we need to go on a quick break, so we'll continue after the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
This is how I fight my battle.
word tells you that you're something, then you're that thing.
Daughter of the Most High.
Welcome back. We're still talking to Nwando. So before we went on the break, you were telling us this phenomenal and powerful testimony, and also about why women should wait. And even, and I mentioned, I said, your husband was round the corner. So God had already provided him for you way before you knew.
True.
But he didn't open your eyes to that.
No.
And there must have been a reason.
First things first, I met him in 2012. And there was no, if I'm allowed to say, there was no physics, there was no chemistry, and there was no biology. We were just friends. With him, I got to hear the word more. We would challenge ourselves in praying, fasting, listening to the word. If there was a latest message I thought it would be best for him to hear, I would tell him. We always met up from time to time just to, how would I say, to update our word network, our word base. And we did that for a long time. But funny enough, I could tell him things I couldn't tell even girls. I couldn't tell ladies. I could tell him, and he would listen without judging me. I could tell him even challenges I had at home. And funny enough, he could tell me about the ladies who he was trying to chase, and I'll be like, are you sure? Is the spirit telling you the right thing and all that? He could tell me because he saw me as a friend. And even when I went back to Nigeria and he was still there, we still communicated and we still kept on talking about the same things. So I found it as a shock when he asked me to go out with him, because this is my brother. I could tell him literally anything. So when that time came of him asking me out, and I juggled in my head, is this possible, is this possible? I had a check in my spirit because I almost said no. I almost said no. But I had a check in my spirit. I asked the Lord that, Lord, if this is my own, make this plain to me. And he did. And over time, I just began to have a warm feeling towards him every day. I could tell him things, and we still prayed together. We would pray for an hour almost every day.
Wow.
And funny enough, we still pray together.
Fantastic. So let's talk about waiting. You said a woman should wait. Women don't want, nobody wants to hear that, especially in a country where there's pressure. So I married quite early. I was about 24. But even at that, even when I was young, I know there was even pressure. You could feel the pressure. And now I've been married for over 12 years, but I have friends that are not yet married. And sometimes I can feel the pressure on their behalf because it is real. But you have come out on the other side and you have seen that there was value in the wait. What experiences did you have during the wait? And please tell us even the experiences where you maybe challenged God, where you asked God why. Because I'm sure a lot of women go through that. Why me? Lord, I've kept myself for you. Why am I the one having to wait?
I'll take you to the UK. I heard a lady say this for the first time in winter. And she said, my bed is going to be cold again this winter. I will tell you that that feeling never came. Not for one day. However, there was the desire to be loved. There was the desire to be called my own. You know when a guy says, this is my woman, there was that desire. But I could honestly tell you, I handed that desire to the Lord because I said, let me go back. When I was 11, 12, I said, Lord, I see all these things happening in front of me. I submit myself to you. It wasn't easy, but I said, Lord, I would go through the process. And process is not a very nice word in this day and age. It's not a very palatable word.
It's not.
Process means denying yourself of your own pleasure and submitting your pleasure to the one who knows you better than you know yourself. I could tell you that, I watch romantic movies. I love romantic comedies. I'm a sucker for romance. So I'll be like, God, I want this. God, I want this. But God created me. He knows how I was wired. And he knows what I like and what I don't like. But much more than that, he knows what's best for me. Process. I have to emphasize that word. Process means that you were in a certain state before. That wasn't good enough. Process takes out that which is not good for you and then presents you as that which is good. In process, you die to yourself and you come out as alive to God. You may not be perfect, but you're good enough. Process is needful in this day and age. And waiting means, God, I submit my feelings, I submit my emotions, I submit my desires to you. And I submit my body. Because the Bible says that the heart of man is deceitful and desperately wicked. Who can know it? But a heart that is submitted to God is pure when God has finished dealing with it. I'm still in process. Let me say that now. I'm still in the journey of process. But I know that once I've submitted myself to process, I will be good enough. To every woman who is finding it hard to wait because of pressure, let her have at the back of her mind, I'm on a journey. And whoever that is the dispenser of pressure, just let her tell him, you're not worth it. You're not worth it.
Whatever kind of pressure.
Whatever kind of pressure, you're not worth it. Because Christ, who for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross. He despised the shame. But there was something better. When I think of myself as a trophy, as a medal, as something precious before God, I will not cast my pearls before swine. I will make myself, with the help of God, obviously, I would remember that I'm important, I'm precious. I will wait. For the one who sees my value will come and get me.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you for sharing. Inspiration to so many people, and I know there's so many people that would watch this and would find hope and would know that, God has not forgotten.
Let me say this. God has not forgotten. My husband was tailor-made for me. And why do I say that? God brought a man who knew how to stand me. He could stand me because I'm not perfect. But he also knew a man that could push me in ministry. Because my husband is not happy when I don't fulfill ministry. And my husband is one who is very, what word could I use? He's determined. And his determination is what even drives me more into ministry. So while the woman is waiting, let her ask the Lord for her own. Not just any man, but her own. The same way Rebecca was picked for Isaac. Ask for your own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Nwando. I wish we could go on and on. I feel like we have just started. So many questions, but we're time is going, but I want to ask you some questions. We've talked about some heavy stuff, some deep stuff. So I want to ask you some quick questions. So the first thing that comes to your mind, just answer. So what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Okay, strangest thing. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, second question. What's the favorite thing about someone in your family? So what is your favorite thing about anyone in your family?
My sister, Chinwe. That's my immediate elder sister. She's the life of the family. Everywhere she goes, she just makes everyone happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is one of your weird quirks? So do you have any weird quirks?
My husband thinks I act like a baby sometimes. That's why he calls me his grown-up baby.
Oh, that is actually so cute.
Yeah.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Wow. Okay. Passionate. Very passionate. Sometimes peculiar.
Peculiar.
Yeah. And wow. Oh God, I don't know the third one. I can't think of one. I'm very passionate. Sometimes I'm peculiar, but
Deep.
yeah.
If you could trade lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
I would trade life with Catherine Coleman.
Ooh, fire. Holy Ghost fire. Like, oh my God, I felt that.
Catherine Coleman.
Oof.
Yeah. I would.
Why?
I just want to know how life was with her, how she was hosting the presence of the Holy Spirit and being able to minister healing to people. Catherine Coleman, definitely.
So on that note, as we round up, I'd like to ask you if we can worship
Okay.
God. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is how I fight my battle.
But if God tells you that you're something, then you're that thing.
daughter of the Most High.
Welcome back. Before we went on the break, we asked Nwando if she could lead us in worship. And so, Nwando, could you?
I see the Lord seated on the throne, exalted, and the train of his robe fills the temple with glory, and the whole earth is filled, and the whole earth is filled, and the whole earth is filled with his glory. I see the Lord. I see the Lord exalted high upon the worship of the people of the earth. I see the Lord. I see the Lord, for my eyes have seen the King. He is the Lamb upon the throne, who reigns forevermore. God, we give you praise. God, we give you praise. I can't go further than that, seriously.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now that's the end of our show. Remember to follow us on social media, Instagram, HOTM TV, Facebook, Heart of the Matter, and YouTube, HOTM channel. Until next week, stay blessed.